are going to be on page 17 of your handbook. And we're actually going to be talking about functions or processes that all living organisms perform. So living organisms share many characteristics. Thinking back to our 4 macromolecules, all of them have carbs, lipids, nucleic acids, and proteins. And so all of them also have things like enzymes. These characteristics can be described in many ways, but one method is to list all the processes that living organisms perform. And so these are all functions or things that organisms all do, that all living organisms do. And so we actually use the word Sterngrr to help remember all of these functions or all of these things that living things do. Now, so all living organisms, plants and animals, are going to perform these functions, and even things like bacteria. The first process is synthesis, and this is where organisms build body structures like hair and nails. So in synthesis, just like earlier how we talked about enzymes putting molecules together to make something, that's what synthesis is all about. We're building something. The next process is transport, and this is where organisms move things within their body, like using blood. So your blood is moving all throughout your body, and that's going to help bring nutrients and oxygen to every cell in your body as well. So when you think of transport, don't think about literally you're physically moving. Don't think of transportation with cars and buses and that sort of thing. Think about movement inside of your body or inside of your cells. The third process is excretion, and this is where you get rid of solids, liquids, and gases as waste. So when you're excreting something, when you're sweating, you also excrete or get rid of some salts, okay? Going to the bathroom, and other things like gases, like carbon dioxide is a gas that we excrete, that we get rid of when we're exhaling. The fourth process is regulation, and this is where organisms control their body temperature. So if it's really, really cold, you're going to shiver to help warm up your body. If it's really, really hot, you're going to start sweating to help cool down your body. So the next Sterngrr process or function that all living things perform is nutrition. All organisms either need to make or consume their food. So organisms like plants, make their own food. They use sunlight and photosynthesis to make their own food. Or organisms like animals, and even things like a mushroom, a fungus, will actually have to consume food. Not all animals are going to have a mouth like we do, but they're still technically eating food or breaking down molecules to use as food. The next step is growth, or the next process is growth and development, and this is where your multicellular organisms, many cells, are going to get bigger, and this happens in a variety of ways, okay? Some cells are just going to divide, and there's going to be more and more and more through cell division. Others are going to completely change. If you think of a caterpillar to a butterfly, that's a form of development. It's completely changing its form. The next function or process is respiration. And this is where all organisms need to break down the carbs or food that they're getting from nutrition, that they're consuming, or that they're making to get energy. So you're actually going to break down carbohydrate or a type of sugar to form an energy source known as ATP. And usually most living organisms will use oxygen to perform that function. So respiration isn't just about breathing in and out, but it's actually about making ATP, using the things that you ate, things you consumed, to get that energy. And the last function that all living organisms perform is known as reproduction. reproduction, okay? Organisms are going to have to make offspring. Some can perform this asexually, like bacteria, they can just split in half to make a new offspring, or they can perform that sexually, where you exchange DNA. So to sum that all up, together, all of these Sterngrr reactions and processes make up every organism's metabolism. Okay, so that's all the chemical reactions occurring within your body. That's what metabolism is. An organism will complete all 8 of these processes, and organisms also regulate their internal conditions in a process known as homeostasis. So, again, if you're thinking about all of your chemical reactions, that's what metabolism is. Metabolism, so all your chemical reactions. And that can be part of that synthesis, that can be part of that digestion, making and breaking things down. That could be breaking down proteins you ate into those amino acids and then putting them back together as proteins you need. And that's also going to be part of respiration, getting that energy you need in the form of ATP. Okay, so those are all of your chemical reactions. And then, of course, you're going to have to regulate your internal conditions. And we talked about previously how buffers can be used to regulate things like the pH in your body.